I've been thinking about the passages of life and how that affects our psyche and our psychological well-being. In different stages, our calling evolves and grows. As children, our calling is to play. Then we take in the world, we explore and absorb and experiment. In the next phase of life, we try to become independent, follow our dreams, make a living, be a part of society, and then try to accept responsibility, nurture our family and relationships, balance work and the other parts of our lives. But our journey doesn't end there, and we continue to learn and grow throughout our entire lives as much as we allow ourselves. And a lot of our time is devoted to seeking the right job or reputation or relationship or outward success. But that's not enough to be psychologically mature. And as we live longer lives, I think that we have the opportunity to redefine what life looks like at every age. The complexities and new challenges that come with age and new wisdom, and the multiple endings and beginnings that we experience throughout our entire lives. And two of the most valuable things we have are time and our relationships with others. And the single best thing we can do for our relationships is to work a little bit on ourselves, because we can't find a relationship more evolved than the level of development that we bring to it. Carl Jung said it's easier to go to Mars or to the moon than it is to penetrate one's own being. And I really appreciate him and his work, because he tried to create a vocabulary and a framework to begin to make sense of our abstract inner lives. And I'd argue that all of us have mental health issues, that it's a continuum, it's a spectrum. And at various times in our lives, we experience stress and sorrow and anxiety and confusion, and it can easily escalate to depression and conflicts and self-destruction if we ignore it. And it's easy to ignore it. When we talk about improving our mental health, it can be very nebulous. The tools are not as obvious as physical health. A lot of this is about introspective exercises, which can be challenging in our very distracting world. But something that Jung says that comforts me is that neuroses are to be welcomed because they serve as arrows that point to the wound, that they show a healthy self-regulating psyche at work, that neuroses are the suffering of a soul which has not yet discovered its meaning. So I think anytime that you have an overreaction to a situation, whether that's annoyance or anger or resentment, it's an arrow that points to a wound. And once you acknowledge it and follow the path behind that reaction, you can begin to better understand it and have some distance to be able to look at your behaviors and your motivations and your opportunities for growth more objectively.